Hey there, goobers and gobbers. Today I have part one of my two-part reaction series to Bricky's Warhammer Every Faction Explained Part 1. So here we go. This is my first dive into the Warhammer lore and the Warhammer genre as a whole. So I hope you enjoy my first impressions of it. Enjoy. You guys ready to watch some mother freaking Warhammer? Hey, what's up? No cursing. My bad. 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 Let's get this road on the show, baby. Actually, I lied because because guys, I'm gonna wiggle around like this because I forgot there's no audio. Now there's audio. All right, now we're going. Let's go. Let's get this going.
As someone who doesn't necessarily serve the Omnissiah, but someone who can appreciate them, you will not be getting my
Every
legs
audio is
today,
good.
as I'll be replacing them with various things depending on which faction we are currently
E
talking about to add a little bit more
E.
context and possible comedy to whatever the hell I am
Oh
currently
heck
doing.
yeah.
So, hello everybody, my name
We're
is
good. Audio
Bricky,
good. Everything
and this
sound
is
good.
going to be a long video
Is
and
good.
a large project that has been
Oh hell
going
yeah.
on for quite some
I
time.
could say hell yeah.
This is, I need two hands for this.
Oh heck
This
yeah.
is every single Warhammer 40K
And I'm ready
race
for it.
in
I'm
kind of a
hungry.
nutshell, explained, a little
I'm
bit of
hungry for it.
explanation, a little bit of lore, a little bit of talking about the tabletop, mostly lore, what they're all about,
Okay.
and also a little bit of background for those of you who just have no
E.
clue what Warhammer 40,000 is.
This art
Now, you
is
see, Warhammer
it does
and
something in my
Warhammer
brain.
40,000 is a universe people hear plenty of, but don't know a whole
Yes.
lot about. They see, oh, there's these dudes in big
He
power
looks so
armor with
goofy.
chainsaw swords, and they got these big old green orcs, and there's some bugs over
Yes.
there, and everyone calls these guys weebs, and then there's these spiky bitches over here, and I don't get it.
Hey.
I don't understand. Where do I start? Well, this video is
Thank goodness.
particularly for you, or for those
That's
of you
me.
who have
That's
a little
literally
bit of
what I
knowledge,
look
but
like
kinda curious
right
about
now.
each of the different races and factions in Warhammer. So overall, the Warhammer
my
universe
goodness.
is vast when it comes to lore and
Oh,
background.
hell.
Each different faction is so different.
Space
with the things that they believe
wolves,
in.
orcs.
Some are human, some are transhuman, like where they all have all these crazy ass
E.
electronics on them. You've
Isn't
got
that- I think that's
aliens,
Neffy's
and
favorite.
You've got the chaos factions, and there's so much to entail
Wolves?
that I decided to embark on this
Not actual
project
wolves.
to tell you what each and every single one of them is about and what the Warhammer universe is about as well, to give at least a little bit of an intro.
Who
to
dang
this
sat down and
extremely
thought of all
loaded,
of this? You know what I
but
mean?
Very, very enjoyable.
Who dang sat
world
down
that
and
I
thought all of this? You know, like look at this. Somebody's like, yeah, I'm gonna make my own universe, and this is what I'm just gonna do. I'm just gonna start making this.
and many others partake in. So, I will be explaining every single faction in the Warhammer 40K universe, at least all the factions you can play as, and some smaller factions here and there. I will not be
Tau.
discussing absolutely everything in it because that is a little bit much, and I'm not going to go
A life
too
listener, JK.
mega deep into the lore. I'm going to give you a pretty solid overview of each
It's
of
all
the
somehow
different factions
semi-strictly
and have you
controlled
learn
by a
little
single
bit
studio.
about them, and we'll
That's
discuss
wild.
a little bit of the tabletop as well in case you're curious
Tabletop?
about that. But for this episode entirely, we are discussing the Imperium of Man because that takes up a fat chunk of Warhammer lore.
Yikes.
What
Okay, so first off, I've
Boy,
always
cheers
fucked.
for the Fallout
Yo.
Club, but you're a fucking legend.
Poik. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. So first things first. First things first. I'm the realist. Drop down and make the whole world. You know, Iggy Azalea. Anyways, I grew up kind of around Warhammer as a tabletop thing, and I say grew up. I was like in like early high school and stuff. You know, I'm still impressionable, right? And I'd spend my like weekends at a card shop that sold guitars, Magic the Gathering cards, and Warhammer 40K models and painting stuff. So I grew up around a bunch of sweaty guys that smelled like cigarettes that played Warhammer in the back of this card shop like every weekend. And I always thought it looked really cool. But man, when I would see the price tags on these things and realize that I had to paint them myself, man, did I like lose interest fast because I was like, oh, I can't paint nothing. I'm stupid and I'm not very dexterous and I'm not good at painting nothing. And man, that's a lot of money. And if I ruin it, I'm gonna feel so stupid and bad. And then I was like, but man, is it really cool watching these sweaty guys play this funny little board game with their cool little models. So about my Like, I always liked watching it. So I always thought it looked really cool, even though I'm like, I would suck ass at it. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to say that really quick.
Is Warhammer 40,000? Well, the 40,000 starts off is the year 40,000. The 41st millennium, that's where it takes place, is in the year
Okay.
40,000,
Easy enough.
41,000 AD. You're already more knowledgeable. Let me read you a quote, first of many quotes in this video.
I love quotes.
It is the 41st millennium. For more than 100 years, the Emperor has sat immobile on the golden throne of Earth. He is the master of mankind by the will of the gods, and master of 1,000,000 worlds by the might of his inexhaustible armies. He is a rotting carcass,
This guy seems pretty
writhing
cool.
visibly with power from the dark age of
Okay.
technology. He is the carrion lord of the Imperium, for whom 1,000 souls are sacrificed every day so that he may never truly die. To be a man in such times is to be amongst untold billions. It is to live in the cruelest and
This is a
most
long
bloody
quote.
regime imaginable. These are the tales of those times. Forget the power of technology and science, for so much has been forgotten, never
Goodness.
to be relearned. Forget the promise of progress and understanding, for in the grim, dark future, there is only war. There is no peace amongst the stars, only an eternity of carnage and slaughter, and the laughter of thirsting gods. Everything.
Okay, that sounds pretty cool, you know? Is what it is. Is what it is. Oh, yeah, every quote in Warhammer is a minimum of 300 words. Yeah, okay. That's fine, but, you know, this guy sounds cool, and this place sounds cool already. I'm into it.
blows. And it blows fucking hard.
Okay.
Warhammer is probably the most dark and depressing universes
Yeah, that's
ever
hardcore.
in fiction.
That's
Or
fair.
at least like top 3.
That guy looks
Everything
cool.
is
He looks
so
whimsical.
absurdly horrible, destructive, or overpowered that
And
it
these
all
guys look
kinda
sick.
ends up canceling itself out. It's like Dota. War rages across the galaxy. Interstellar travel is only possible
Ain't nobody be
due to
chilling here.
sacrificing 1,000 souls a day to a rotting carcass of a man who you believe to be your god. Demonic gods and just
I
demons
mean, these
tear
guys
open
look
the fabric
friendly.
of reality on a whim. Other Xenos or even other humans end up killing each other in untold billions
Damn.
across the galaxy.
I mean, that
It is
guy's
a time
cool.
of unending war,
Oh, I know those guys.
slaughter, and a bloodbath amongst
The blueberries.
everybody. Planets are deemed unrecoverable and are completely destroyed.
My bare minimum
on a
knowledge.
whim. Everything sucks, but that's like the charm of it. See,
Yeah.
everything in Warhammer is evil, but being evil is kind of fun. Like humanity, in its own right, is a xenophobic, prejudice, and religious zealot group that kill
Fair.
each other just as much as they kill all of their enemies. But
To be honest, guys, let's be so real. Type 1 in the chat right now if you tend to go for like a bad guy playthrough in like a game that lets you pick bad or good. Let's be honest. How many of you guys pick bad guy playthroughs and kind of be like a, you know, in kind of like RPG games and stuff like that, you know, like, because like, let's be honest. Sometimes you just be playing the bad guy for fun, for the love of the game. I do both. Chronic good guy. I slowly raise my hand. I feel too guilty. That's crazy. You feel too guilty? I got that anti-villain hero complex. You would, bro. You would.
and they're like mid to high tier evil on the evil scale of Warhammer. Nobody is good. No matter
Mid to
who
high
you
tier.
are, everyone is some flavor, some color of evil. Whoever you pick, you are going to be the bad guy. But that's the fun of it.
Hell
Being
yeah.
the bad guy is badass. Villains are cool. They look cool. They got cool outfits.
Everybody's
they got cool
bad.
weapons, they got cool armies. Villains are cool, man. And when
This guy right here. This guy right here has the look of, you guys seeing this shit? Like, that's the look this guy's giving me right now. He's like, you guys seeing this shit right now? Oh my god.
look cool. They got cool outfits. They got cool weapons. They got cool armies. Villains are cool, man. And when
He's like, huh?
everyone is a villain, everyone is pretty cool. That's what makes this so charming, is that
Yeah, that's
everyone
fair.
can be the bad guy. So let's start off talking about the main bad guy, quote unquote, the Imperium of Man.
Yeah.
Whack! It's geared whack!
The Imperium of Man is the
I didn't
main
sign up for this
empire
ass, yeah.
of the human race. All of humanity is under this one flag called the Imperium. And about 10,000 years ago, there was a man. He was the Emperor of
The
mankind,
guy.
a 10-foot tall psychic demigod who led humanity across the stars to colonize tons and tons of worlds, create superhuman soldiers, and really bring humanity into a new age. This man, the Emperor of Mankind, was a psyker. And a psyker is like a magician of sorts. In the world of 40K,
I like
there
that
is
term.
the warp, the immaterium.
I like the term
hell,
psyker.
but sort of like a purgatory dimension
So he's him.
of
Oh,
hell.
yes.
And a psyker is someone who can take that power and manifest it through their mind to use it to do stuff, like witchcraft stuff, magician stuff.
I want to shoot
spells,
lightning out of my
lots
eyes.
other things, but we don't want to get too into that. The Emperor, big boy psyker. Top tier, A+, maybe even S. Now, the Emperor created a bunch of sons. Yes, created a bunch of sons known as the Primarchs. He created 18 Primarchs to have them lead all of the different legions of humanity to the different stars and planets to help colonize and
Damn, some of these guys look crazy.
These Primarchs are basically like little versions of the Emperor. Not all of them are psychers, but a lot of them are very, very powerful, and they lead his special Space Marine legions. Then this big clusterfuck happened called the Horus Heresy, where the Emperor's favorite son, the Primarch, Horus, ended up joining Chaos and leading 9 other, well, I guess 8, 9 of the 18, half of his Primarchs directly to Earth to fight down the Emperor himself. Now, if you want to know what Chaos
hell
is,
nah.
what I mentioned earlier, the warp,
what a bitch.
Imperium, the hellish place, in there relies
Can't be turning on the fam
Chaos
like that.
gods. Imagine like Satan and 3
There's one
other
behind me, but they got some
warp
titties. I'm just
being
gonna
kind
say
of
it.
evil, those chaos gods,
They're behind
that's
my
the
head,
reason.
though. Oh, there they are.
So those chaos gods manipulated Horus, and then Horus helped manipulate all 8.
Damn, he big as a bitch in that one.
Manipulated Horus, and then Horus.
He big as a bitch in that. Damn, that's a dude? That's a whole ass dude? Is that the guy? He's got 2 swords on his dick. What the hell? This explanation is already dense thanks to just how insane the universe is. Yeah. Angron? Oh, hell.
Horus helped manipulate all 8 other Primarchs to lead this giant
that guy big as hell
directly on the Emperor on Earth, and they fucked up shit. After this huge civil war, Horus died, but not before brutally wounding the Emperor. And right at the end of his life, they put the Emperor on this large golden throne on Earth, in which he is now alive, just barely, but slowly rotting away, powering something called the Astronomicon, so long as he
the Astronomicon.
1,000 people a day. The Astronomicon is like the North
We gotta keep
Star.
making people.
If you want to do interstellar travel in 40K, you need to pass through that demonic warp I mentioned earlier. But how do you know where you're going? Well, the Emperor is there, putting a nice little navigator right there. He helps navigate you to know where you're going. If you want to go from Earth to some crazy solar system across the way, you need to go through that warp.
Is it like a big honor to be sacrificed to the Emperor?
It's like
a big honor.
Nether travel in Minecraft.
I feel like that's a big honor. They probably love that shit.
So long as the Emperor is alive and being fed 1,000 people a day to stay alive, you can do that. The moment he dies, interstellar travel's gone for all of humanity. You're so boned. Now, since the Horus Heresy 10,000 years ago, the Imperium has fallen from grace substantially. All technology has started to dwindle
not the grace meter.
die. There is now giant fundamental religious extremists that now believe the Emperor of Mankind was a deity, a true living god, which is probably the last thing the Emperor would have wanted to be remembered for. So now you have this thing called the Ecclesiarchy, which is this giant church entirely devoted to spreading the good word of the Emperor. He is now the Holy Emperor.
Everything's so damn big in this universe.
Emperor of mankind, and all of the Imperium has taken up worshiping him to the fullest extent and killing anything that isn't humanity.
I've heard that title be said, like heard this guy being called that. And every time I hear it, I'm like, man, they really just came up with the craziest title for this man. The God Emperor of
his
Mankind
name.
is
The Imperium
still a
has
crazy
this
title.
futuristic gothic tone to it and a hefty religious zealotry to them. If you think anything against the Emperor, that's heresy and you deserve to die. That is called being a heretic. Heretics die in 40K. There is no such thing as freedom of religion.
That guy looks like he's having a blast. That guy's having a blast and you know it.
The Emperor. There is no such thing as any kind of tolerance. Everyone is a religious zealot. Some more than others, but no matter what, you're preaching that good word. So right now, everyone in humanity is trying to expand their empire across the stars.
I mean, fair enough.
If you are a heretic, someone who doesn't believe in the Emperor, you are deserving of death. If
okay,
you
well,
believe in the Chaos
that's enough
gods,
for me.
You are also a heretic and you deserve death.
Ari would thrive in the Imperium.
Of any kind, you are a
well, she would.
And you deserve death
They would tell her one story about the God Emperor, and she'd go, "Wow."
And humanity expands.
Yeah.
The Imperium of Man is
he's just the goat. Like, fair enough.
However,
and she just believe it with open hand and open heart.
Is my personal favorite faction, and the first faction we will discuss, the Astra Militarum, or also known as the Imperial Guard.
The Imperial Guard.
You finished?
These are just the guys.
The Imperial Guard is the main fighting
there he is
force
again.
Of the Imperium, and in a world of horrifying creatures, galactic monstrosities, the literal demons themselves breaking through the fabric of time to kill you.
And then you send the army.
Imperial Guard are untold billions of regular men and women.
Yep, regular dudes.
Modern day, like flak armor with a laser rifle. This is the humble las gun.
I want one.
Of the Imperial Guard. It fires superheated plasma lasers at an extremely fast
I want
fire rate.
one.
It is reliable, never jams. It can blow off limbs, giant
They're
holes,
insane heroes
concrete.
/ chaos fodder.
It is overall an extremely
I
devastating
mean,
weapon.
you gotta hand it to him.
In modern day, it is one of the weakest in the 40K universe. Yeah, a laser rifle that never jams, it could blow off limbs, one of the weakest weapons. That's the world we're in right now.
Yeah.
But who cares?
You gotta hand it to
The
him.
Guard has in each battle.
They really get out there and try and get shit done, despite
men and
everything.
women. 30,000 large armored tanks, 10,000 artillery batteries. The Imperial Guard wins through sheer numbers and firepower. They kind of have this World War I, World War II style aesthetic with
it's neat.
Of guardsmen as well as
they do get shit done.
And generals on the field along.
Maybe one of those expeditions. That's what I'm saying.
Troops. A normal Imperial Guard battle starts off with artillery, long.
Damn, there's a lot of force behind that.
Cracking the crust of the planet underneath the
I love cracking the crust.
And as this barrage continues,
not a mean chat, you know.
Hundreds of thousands of guardsmen, a sea of guardsmen surges forward, firing and
I'd love to
charging
see
at
that.
everything possible, while the planet rumbles as tanks roll up behind them. Gunships block out the sun, and tanks block out the dirt with the steps and hoof prints of millions of guardsmen. It is through numbers and sheer sundering firepower. They are the first and last line of defense for the Imperium and make up a huge bulk of the battles.
That's pretty sick,
though. Also made up of tons of different kinds of regiments. The Catachin jungle fighters live in a death world that's more hospitable than almost any firefight they'll ever get into. So they just have this.
Those guys are just. They look like Contra.
Knife, Rambo, Predator-looking sons of bitches, where nothing is anywhere near as scary as a simple night on their home planet. You have the Valhallan Winter Soldiers who haven't felt their toes in 300 years.
Valhallan Winter Soldiers.
Iron Guard who are more interested in making their shoes shine than actually fighting a battle. And then, of course, the big one, the Cadians from
I know these guys.
Cadia.
Oh. What happened to them?
The biggest export of guardsmen in the
What happened to them?
Imperium. You will fire your first gun at 5.
What happened to these guys?
You will disassemble and reassemble it at 10. You will have pounding artillery drills day in and day out at 15. And you'll fight your first swarm lord at 16. And if you mention Cadia, you will burst into an unrelenting amount of tears and sadness like I do daily. To quote, I have
here's another quote.
An entire battle group of the Imperial Guard. 50 regiments, including specialized drop troops, stealthers, mechanized formations, armored companies, combat engineers, and mobile artillery. Over 500,000 fighting men and 30,000 tanks and artillery pieces are mine to command. Emperor, show mercy to the fool that stands against me, for I shall not. The Imperial Guard are my personal favorite faction in 40k. They're the army I collect the most, the ones I enjoy playing the most, and the one I enjoy in the lore sense a lot. There's something about just a regular man with a laser rifle being told to charge the horrors of this universe and willingly doing so for his god emperor. It's just...
fair enough.
They actually represent the main Imperial
They look like
Guard
little
tactics pretty
leprechauns.
well. Large amounts of artillery that doesn't require a line of sight, lots of tanks, tons of infantry, drop troops, and gunships.
Look at these
Overall,
guys.
They're pretty similar to how they sound.
They look pretty
although
chill.
a little bit expensive to collect, unfortunately. And they don't hit a lot. They have a bit of a bad aim, but you don't really care because you're just
expensive
drowning
to
them in
collect.
shots. However, if you want more accurate fire and specialization, we can move on to talk about Space Marines.
The Angels of
The
Death.
Angels of Death are up next. Space Marines
These are the big
genetically
boys.
engineered super soldiers and superhumans.
These
They're
are the
given
big boys.
Extra organs. Their skin tissue is toughened. Their bones are stronger. They're taller than the average person. They're
It's the
pretty
best day of my
massive
life. I'm glad,
people.
Monkey.
And these are the specialized super soldiers that carry out a lot of the more
Jinkies.
specific tasks for the Imperium. And there's tons of legions of them. In fact, there's one per Primarch. Each Primarch, the Emperor's son, as I mentioned before, oversees their legion of Space Marines. The genetic upgrade they get is based on the genes of said Primarch. It's something called a gene seed. That's what
the
brings
gene
them up to
seed,
this,
bro.
like, superhuman level. As stated, each Primarch has
Got
their own
that
legion.
gene seed in him.
Robot Girly Man has the Ultramarines, Jagatai
Girly
Khan
Man
has the White Scars, Rogel Dorn has the Imperial Fists, Corvus Corax has the Raven Guard, and there's a whole bunch of other side sections that are also extremely interesting and have a little bit more of a twist on the average Space Marines, which
The
we'll discuss in a
blueberries.
bit.
Those are the ones I
Humorously enough,
know.
I don't have a whole lot to say about Space Marines. They're superhumanly fast. In fact, it's been said that nothing that large should move that quick. These men in power armor moving at blazing fast speeds. Their reflexes are faster. Their skin is tougher. They are overall just extremely powerful
They're big dudes.
soldiers. In fact, where they differ comes down to which Space Marine Legion we're talking about. For instance, the Ultramarines done by Robot Gilliman are the main blue boys, strong in almost every way.
Big blues.
The jack of all trades kind of group that are a little bit too strong, and that's a lore problem. But the White Scars by Jagatai Khan are all about speed freaks, go fast. We're talking attack bikes.
White Scars.
We're talking land speeders. You want to go in.
That sounds.
You want to hit them hard. You want them to be swarming around like buzzflies.
Buzzsaws.
With the
Buzzflies.
speed of buzzsaws.
I mean, that sounds fast to me, bro. That sounds fast to me.
Pale King. Salamanders love fire. Fire in the forge, fire in the flamers,
the green ones,
multi-meltas. Just so long as something can be burning, that's big. And they're also actually some of the nicest of the Space Marines. A lot of Space Marines have this kind of like holier than thou thing because of their genetic strength. However, the Salamanders tend to put human lives above the lives of themselves, which is actually rather rare. They're also all black, but not like just regular black, like 2 a.m. line at a White Castle black. Like they have a charcoal, dark, ashy exterior and blazing red eyes.
I mean, that's awesome.
About living on their home planet of Nocturne, which I don't know if that makes
that sounds cool as hell.
These
sign me up, bro.
This is like fantasy land anyway. Overall, Salamanders are actually one of my personal favorite legions because they're just really cool. They're fun to play as because of all their flamer weapons, and they have a nice,
fire.
More heartwarming lore as opposed to being super evil like everyone else is. Oh my god, we're not even a quarter of the way through the Space Marine
Greens, it was ordained. Well, hang on. Gotta wait to get to my goats. The
defensive positions. Raven Guards, master of stealth and sabotage while having bird helmets. Iron Hands, masters of machines and vehicles while being really goddamn good at being sold on eBay after one nerf. Space Wolves, Vikings, and
the Space Wolves.
Tons of wolves and axes, battle axes, fur everywhere. Space Wolves, angry, big teeth, Blood Angels, genetic defect to make them want to drink blood and go crazy called the Red Thirst. They have Cupid wings and stuff, which is a little bit strange, and they are all super gay for Sanguinius. Dark Angels are old school knights and inner circle theme and...
Are you a heretic?
Me? No, never. Once in a blue moon, I know.
Deathwatch.
Once in a
Fancy
blue
Pantsy
moon, I
Xenos
guess.
Group that nobody plays because Deathwatch, and they look cool though, but no one plays them. I don't know about Deathwatch.
Deathwatch.
They're there though. Black Templars, for the people who, if you haven't prayed at least 3 times a day, you're gonna start praying out that airlock. And I'm sure there's some other chapters I may have missed as
I've
well,
heard things
Crimson
about the
Fist and
Dark
stuff, but
Angels or whatever.
those are the main ones right
Through
here.
the pipeline
Here,
of listening to
quote,
Tetra
from
and
the
Effie
Emperor
talk.
himself. They shall be my finest warriors, these men who give of themselves to me. Like clay I shall mold them, and in the furnace of war I shall forge them. They shall be of iron will and steely sinew.
All right, sounds good, monkey.
In
Bye.
great armor I shall clad them, and with the mightiest weapons shall they be armed. They will be untouched by plague or disease, no sickness shall blight them. They shall have such tactics, strategies, and machines that no foe will best them in battle. They are my bulwark against the terror. They are my defenders of humanity. They are my space marines, and they shall know no fear. And on
Hell
the
yeah.
tabletop, they fuck. Oh, they fuck hard. As of making this video,
Oh,
Space
hell
Marines
yeah.
are laughably strong. That might change at some point, but overall, Space Marines just have it's like a Swiss Army knife, a tool for anything you need.
It's
except
fair.
It's like a gold-plated Swiss Army knife. It is extremely strong.
These are the ones
If
I
you
saw
are
the
actually
most of on
getting
the
into
table.
tabletop of Warhammer, Space Marines are a great start. Also, whatever gameplay style you have, whether you want to be sit back, long range, and heavy weaponry, go fast.
I want
and
one of
run
those
in,
hammers,
or
bruh.
even just full melee. All of these options are totally there for you. Space Marines are super badass, but unfortunately, it's time we start praying to our new god, the 2011 Honda Civic.
So
Oh,
is it
hell
no wonder
yes.
People are afraid of technology.
Technology!
This
The
is Neffy's
Adeptus
favorite.
Mechanicus. The Adeptus Mechanicus are a technophile cult on Mars.
Hell
now,
yeah.
These people are a little bit weird because they don't actually really believe in the Emperor of Mankind. And you might think, oh, whoa,
These guys,
whoa,
yes.
Berkey, that
Yeah.
sounds like some heresy. A little bit. They believe in the Emperor. They believe in his power, but they don't pray to him.
Yeah.
They pray to something called the Omnissiah. And the Omnissiah, is
Omnissiah.
this kind of machine god that they believe permeates
Yeah.
in all machines. And if you think, well, wait a minute, they
This
believe
is
a
fun.
different god as well? That sounds like super heresy. Well, yes-ish, but they also make all your guns, and they make all your tanks,
Yeah.
and they make everything that you have. So you can't really tell them to fuck off.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to win nothing if you don't got stuff to shoot people with. See, their Omnissiah at least makes sense from their
But it's cool.
standpoint. They believe
They
it's
pray
a
to the
deity that
microwave.
permeates through all machines. Your Honda Civic, your standard bolt gun, your Dune Strider Walker.
Those
your
things
giant
look
mechs,
sick.
Your huge ships. The Omnissiah is present through all. And the only reason your stuff works is because the machine's spirit in it says it works. If you want your gun to work, your tank to run, you must
See, I
pray to
like
it.
that.
And I mean full stop. You need to start chanting in high Gothic. You need to burn incense. You need to sit on your knees and pray to that car. You need to rub oil on your robes, and you need to go ahomina, homina, 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 homina. Full stop.
That's awesome.
If you want your damn thing to work, if you want your gun to fire, you need to do that. They are very bizarre, and they actually
that's
have
cool.
a bit of a point because it's obviously working. And if you look at them,
It's obviously working.
I don't know how that works. So they obviously know something about what they're doing. The most notable member of the Adeptus Mechanicus is Archmagos, Magos, whatever, Belisarius Call. Look at this dude. Look at this
This
dude.
guy looks cool as hell.
Yeah. This is the group we're talking about. These are these weirdos.
He's got like the
Here,
Tesla towers on his
the
back.
Omnissiah Creed. The credo,
Memory used.
Omnissiah. There is no truth in flesh, only betrayal. There is no strength in flesh, only weakness. There is no constancy in flesh, only decay. There is no certainty in flesh, but death. Flesh is weakness, flesh is
Hell
death.
yeah.
The Omnissiah is the god of the machines, and if you wish to be whole, if you wish to be holy, if you wish to give unto him, you must saw down your limbs.
This
and
guy- this I
remove
can
your
get
organs
behind, you
and
know.
replace them with mechanical parts
Because,
that
okay.
is what he wants, and that is how you will become
Okay, so like real quick, gotta stop here because I get behind this because okay, this feels like to me something that's been ingrained in my body for the longest time. Because back when like I'd want my PlayStation 2 to play a disc that was really scratched up, I would like pet the top of it and just say, please work, okay? Please work. And I would pray to my PlayStation. I'd rub the top of it and like get on my knees and pray that it played that game. And sometimes if I wanted it hard enough and I said my prayers to it nicely enough, sometimes it would play my scratched up Yu-Gi-Oh! And the Duelist Roses disc so I could play it, try and play another run of Yu-Gi-Oh! And the Duelist Rose. So I get this on a spiritual level, you know? This is the same thing. They're doing the same. That's why I said I get it, you know? Because I get where they're coming from. If I lived in this universe, I might just be here because I already have that ingrained in my DNA. Because that's what I grew up doing. You know what I mean?
Enlightened. Hard technophiles mixed with religious extremism.
And I feel like you
Adeptus
guys get that too.
Mechanicus. Now, for their army side of things, they are with the Scutari. The Scutari operate with very bizarre weaponry and lots of different kinds of vehicles, tanks, and different
The
people in
Scutari.
between.
It sounds like
They're
a
very
bug.
weird, but they have extremely wacky and enjoyable, and in fact quite effective both in the real game and in the lore, weaponry and gear. Overall, as an army on the
They seem
tabletop,
neat.
they're very weird and have a whole bunch of different shenanigans. But if you like kind of that quirky, wacky techno thing, I'd give them a pickup. Hell, they're so paranoid. I gotta keep going. They're so paranoid and crazy. These Dune Striders
Those
you
cool.
see right here, one guy was able to make them work. One guy, and he died. And they're so scared they'll never work again that they keep them on and they never turn them off, and they run around in a circle the whole time until they need them, and then they corral it and they go to battle.
That's awesome.
The Adeptus Mechanicus. Now,
That's cool though. That, you know what, that's super fair because I would do the same thing because I did the same. My car wasn't working. My car wasn't working great the other day and it died because of like a battery thing, and I was scared it was the alternator of the battery. So I was told that I had to go drive it on the freeway for a while, discharge out the battery. But after I did that, I was so scared that it wasn't going to start back up again. That when I took it to like McDonald's to get fries, I locked the car, but I left it running because I was scared that it was going to turn back on. So while I was waiting there, I just let it stay on because I didn't want my car to die in the McDonald's parking lot. So I totally get it. I'd let my Dune Striders run forever too and corral them when I needed them. You know what I mean? So I totally get that, you know. So I on a spiritual level, I understand the Adeptus Mechanicus and where they're coming from. And so far, most relatable faction that I've seen, you know, most relatable faction.